Welcome. This is online prospecting, regular prospecting, how to prospect. So we just took our list and we brought it down to 5. I added board duty on there because it happens, it works. We talk about how do we get leads every week. So now I just want to go through some of the major things. We'll talk about, and we'll kind of maybe skip over some of these that we go, okay, those aren't our top 5. I mean, farming, yes, we could know how to farm, but let's first talk about how many of you have all the clients you need? Anyone? Bueller? No, we don't.
No.
That's the key. So how many of you hate prospecting? Or, there's Karen. Karen says she understands.
Is that a half?
A half? I'll take a half. Well, prospecting is part of sales. And if you have ever had another sales business, you got to figure it out. You got to have that be one of the things you're doing.
And it can take a while.
And it can take a while. So the success formula from John Maxwell is a few acts of self-discipline, practice every day, over a reasonable amount of time will give you a success formula. Formula for failure, it's just as easy. It's just a few errors in judgments, practice every day over a reasonable amount of time. So errors in judgment or self-discipline and making that happen. Core prospecting techniques. What does the magnet say to you? Magnet being an attractor. One of the first skills to being an attractor is to know how to say who you are and what you do succinctly and convincingly. So what do people ask you? They'll ask you, how's the market? Yeah, what do you do? You know, what's your daily job? So the elevator speech of, so what do you do? So grab a buddy, turn around, talk to someone, tell them what you do. Discuss.
What do you do?
What do you do?
Come on, Karen. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad you asked. I'm a real estate.
I've been working on trying to say that. Yeah, I like that.
I work here in the industry. I've worked in so many you know, if you ever have any needs or let me give you my card.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay?
Normally, I would probably, maybe not, I probably wouldn't. I don't know, I'd probably just say, well, I'm a realtor with ReeceNichols, and I help people find their dream home.
Just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, unfortunately I had no idea, but I live in Manhattan. I went out in the elevator with people that parked 2 cars away. And they said, what do you do? I'm a real estate agent. I said, I'm out of street. Well, you know, we've lived here for 40 years now. I said, yeah. I said, I've got 3 children. I said, I always thought that was pretty.
All right, let's bring it back. Bring it back. Okay, what were the core things you heard? Matchmaker, that's a great one.
That's great.
I said to make dreams come true.
Makes dreams come true. I mean, your home is the American dream in a lot of ways.
What John and I were talking about, it's like you bring the calm to the storm. It's a big, it's one of those, what is it, like the 4 or 5 big life decisions that you make. Is one of them moving.
Yeah.
You know, you uproot yourself.
Yeah, so you're taking probably the biggest asset that they have, then you're taking them through that, and they're moving. So
Calm during the storm.
calm during the storm, that's great. Anyone else? Well, think about this. What if you said, I serve and support families all over KC in the purchase, care, and sale of their most important asset, their home, and I'm a powerful negotiator for them. What do you know that might need my help with? Do you need any help? So what do we see here? You've got the same kind of idea, you know, coming, and then on this one they said powerful negotiator, because that's,
Sending those out?
what's that?
Are you sending those out?
Yeah.
To people so they're going to take that?
Yeah. So guess what? You're in a sales job. How would you answer this question? How much time per day do you spend prospecting to build your business?
I spend a lot of time. I
Good.
walk neighborhoods. It's a big part of my day.
Well,
I mean, I feel like if I'm not working actual leads, that's my job.
Yeah. I look across this room and there's 90% of people that are full-time realtors here. So think about that. Think about how much time you spend on prospecting. You know, if you think of the core things you should be doing, depending on the season, 50% of your time should be prospecting. You know, 30% of your time probably should be working as that core customer service person, that world-class service, and maybe 20% of your time on business. You know, working in your business or on your business to be able to grow it. You're in a sales job, but you're also in a relationship business. So, common characteristics of being a good connector. A good connector is someone, a great connector knows how to ask questions and listen. Effectively, selling is about asking questions. Absolutely. Listening to the answer and then proceeding with the solution. So, proceeding with the solution, a lot of times you have to ask a lot of questions before you give a solution, because you don't really know until you've delved a layer deeper. You peeled that onion back and you've let somebody go, okay, here's what I think about. Effective selling is not talking people into things. I like this. It's nice to meet you. Tell me your name. I have just what you need. What does that sound like? Oh, car salesman. Not that there aren't good car salesmen. A good connector develops awareness, not just when I overhear someone talking about real estate, ooh, but by observing. So, let's see if I can play this here real quick.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make? The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Okay, get ready. Oh, there he is. It's a moonwalking bear right in the middle of it. So,
Yeah.
it's easy to miss something you're not looking for. So, think about that when you're observing. And that was
Did anybody get 13 passes?
Yeah.
11? Good. All right. We observed that. You missed the moonwalking bear. So that might be the feeling, the benefit, what they're really looking for in a house. So where to connect? We just went through some of these. Open houses, PTA, PTO, your schools, what you're involved with, Chamber of Commerce in the directory, your neighbors. You know, we talked about being a neighborhood expert. Well, that means knowing your neighbors, who they are, what they're doing. Your family, like Karen said, most of the time they're your biggest fans. Sometimes not. Friends, a business Facebook page. So that goes to our social media and online that we're talking about. The church bulletin, that could be a way to connect, to get to know people. Sports arenas, to be a sponsor. Newsletters, e-marketing, find articles about the market tips, what to do, selling, pre-approval process. This is setting yourself up as a real estate expert, a real estate professional, so that when somebody goes, okay, wow, I remember seeing that pre-approval process from Jim. I better call Jim. Profile sheets to your COI, update your database, send out birthday cards, anniversaries. So a few simple ways to connect.
I'll give you one more.
Yeah?
Especially this time of year, there are garage sales everywhere.
Mhm.
Get out and go to them and bring a stack of business cards. People are cleaning their houses maybe for a reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cleaning their houses, that day where there's the big junk pickup. You know, you see a lot of stuff out there. May happen. That's the precursor to the dumpster.
My mother-in-law and wife are going all day today, tomorrow, and the next.
You should
Take
have
your
a
business
Thursday.
stack of your cards.
And I was just, now I'm kicking myself. Thanks, Karen. Make me feel bad.
Going back to the communicator, one of the things I also found effective is that when if you repeat something back, they've said, you know, I'm looking for a house with 3 bedrooms, but I need at least 3.5 baths. And you repeat back a little bit later, and you're interested in 3 bedrooms, but you have to have 3.5 baths, it's telling the person you're listening and that you care.
Yeah, and they're giving you the key points, and they might not know all of the key points. You know, you'll get into a spot where they're like, oh, and there'll be 2 people that have different key points. You know, husband wants a 3-car garage because the boat's got to fit in there, and the wife is like, I don't even want the boat anymore. So, yeah, listening is probably the biggest thing, you know, in talking with your clients and buyers and sellers. Some other prospecting techniques. So sweat equity. So door knocking, volunteering, networking. We put networking on here, networking groups. We also put door knocking. So that's getting out in the public. So think about that as sweat equity. Automated property marketing. So this would be something where you're doing something so that things are being sent out on your behalf without you having to go do it every month. A newsletter, a postcard can be some of those that are actually pretty easy to do. So think about express docs. If you're going to do express docs, that's one of our great tools we have. Just listed, just sold cards, seasonal mailers, brochures, property flyers. Make sure you're updated your profile. Make sure the picture's in there. Make sure your phone number and everything's up to date. Maybe next to your phone number, I think you should put call or text, because people text a lot now, and that's a little bit less ownership from their standpoint to go ahead and contact you. Okay, online leads. Do we want to skip online leads right now? It wasn't in our top 5. Or do you want to talk about it?
I want to talk about it.
Okay, online leads. So what's the number 1 reason online leads fail?
No follow-up.
Follow up?
You don't have a relationship with them.
You don't. A good connector learns to follow up on all leads immediately. So this is talking about follow-up and a connector, because you don't have a relationship with them. So prospects are like food in your refrigerator. They're perishable and therefore need to be contacted quickly. You know, you have your leftovers come in the next day, that soggy lettuce is probably got to be thrown out. So think about that, and when you think about prospects, online leads, these are people. These are real people that are looking for something. So you have to go back to the connector to be able to go, how can I help you? What can I do to bring you extra value? The odds of calling a contact a lead decrease by 10 times over the first hour. So if you can get in and you can respond within the first hour, even if it's a text to say, I have your information, I will get back to you as soon as possible, when would be a good time to connect? Something like that. So response time from creation by 5 minutes. So this is lead response management. Initial dials to leads that became contacted. So 5, 10, 20, I mean, this is only an hour to think about. 48% of buyers' inquiries were never responded to. Wow. You know,
That's crazy.
that is really crazy.
I mean, somebody just gave you their information.
Yeah. They went, okay, I'm looking. So this is that voluntary person that said, I'm looking. If you do an AVM request, like we sent out AVM things, and somebody put that in there for their house, that means they want to know what their house is. You need to respond. You need to respond quickly to be able to make it worth your while. So don't be that agent that doesn't respond. Average number of callback attempts after the initial contact was 1.5. So number of callbacks people tried was 1.5. That's not very much. Average number of email contacts was 2.07. So how hard is it to follow up with more than one email, more than one phone call? You do it. The successful people that are working and going, okay, just like when you went to Amazon and you went, I need something, your expectation is that you're going to get an email back, a phone call back, whatever it is, and they're going to do it quickly. So that's what people expect in the digital age. Average response time was 917 minutes, or 15 hours and 15.29 hours. I will say, you get something at the end of the day, you get something at 9:30 at night, it's not necessarily necessary to be appropriately answering at that point. You can. If it's 12:30 at night, no. You know, use the idea of what you would do. So a lead is 2.5 times more likely to directly contact you when you set them up on an e-alert. So if you've got somebody, they've said, here's the house I want, and you can go ahead and set them up on an e-alert, they're 2.5 times more likely. So set them up on a search that gives them what they're looking for. On average, prospects with e-alerts return to your website 15 times more than leads without an e-alert. They're going to come back because you're providing them information and you've done it in a quick manner. Does that make sense to everyone? Online lead text scripts. So 6 is the magic number when it comes to converting online leads per Inman News. So Inman News is probably the #1 company talking about how to, or the #1 thought leader in real estate. So if you call or text, or both, using scripts, and when I say scripts, you're gonna take a core thing and then you're gonna make it your own. That's a script so that you can move quickly and get this information to someone quickly. You should make contact with 9 out of 10 online leads within 24 hours of receiving an inquiry. And in a presentation to Inman News, this was the number one or two things so that you do to convert online leads. I won't go through all of this, but from a standpoint of introduce yourself about the company, who you work for, thank you for the inquiry, mention what they asked about, what property, because that's where they were looking for the information. You know, note where they came from, and you can call back in a couple hours if you don't hear back. So you're calling, you introduce yourself, a lot of times you're gonna get voicemail, right? So leave that voicemail and send a text that says, hi, this is Chris Cribb from ReeceNichols Realty. Thanks for your inquiry on 123 Main Street. I'm ready to help you. I'm calling because of the request. You can call back or text me at this number. If I don't hear from you, I'll give you a call back in a couple hours. That's fair. Actually, you'll see people that'll read that on their, on their voicemail and go, okay, now I know who that was. If I see that number again, maybe I'll answer it. Mention the address of the property and what you can give to them. I'm going to look up some other properties and see if there's anything on or off the market I can share with you. So contact number 2, open the voicemail text in the same way you did the first time. As you're likely aware, properties are selling quickly, so I want to make sure you get the additional information. When that person hears a need of urgency, which is true, right? We're getting multiple offers, we're getting showings that if it's the right house, you got to get in there. So show them that it's an urgent time in the market. Contact 3, 4 to 8 hours. I have some important updates. So if you've looked up the information and gone, okay, maybe you contacted the seller's agent and there's 14 showings in the first day, that's an important update. Number of things to include. Contact 4, 8 to 12 hours. I'll be happy to answer any questions. If they haven't responded at this point, the chances are they're not maybe ecstatic about the property. They thought, oh gosh, that one's okay. It would probably be a 3-star out of 5. If it's a 5-star, they probably responded to you at this point. You'll help them with anything real estate related. So now this is the next day. Don't bother mentioning the original property. So I'm sorry we haven't been able to connect, but I want to make sure I responded to your inquiry. It's important to me to respond to all inquiries because I help all of my customers in a timely manner. Note that you tried to reach them again. If you're still looking for information, please let me know. I'll be happy to help. So this is Inman Connect. This is the brand thought leader for real estate nationally saying, here's what has worked. It's to be able to contact a person that has maybe sent you something from Zillow on your listing 6 times to be able to connect with them. Could we do that? Yeah, especially if we have the time, Is that going to be something that you could be able to do versus going, all right, now I'm going to start on a whole list of expired people that wanted to sell their house once? All right, talk about COI. We said what was COI?
Center of influence.
Yeah, these are friends and family
God,
that we pick for ourselves. These are the people that we want to be around, that want to be around us. A database is not a blank. A database is a list of blank. Any answers?
Not a spreadsheet, it's a list of people.
Database, I would say this. Database is not a list. Database is a list of relationships.
Relationships, I like that.
Database is the heart of your business. So when you're looking at that, you're developing a center of influence. Keep calm, make friends. You need to add people to your database. It's pretty simple. How many people have looked at the database and scrubbed it or cleaned it? Good.
Did mine last winter.
Yeah. Quarterly would be a good time, but if you don't have time to do quarterly, take some of that time. The winter was cold and bad and snowy here. Yeah.
What's on a database?
Right now, we probably have more time than money.
Well, yeah. So stay in contact. How often? 33 is a magic number. There's been a couple different speakers come into town from when we had Tom Ferry in town here. He talked about basically the same technique. If you look at what the Buffini program, the Ninja program teach you, very similar concepts. So review your list. It's a breathing document. Make sure you update all your databases. So you're going to have them in Outlook. You're going to have them on our Today site, our CRM, using Express Docs. So more than one place, sometimes you're going to need to update these things. It's okay to move people off your list. It is. The idea of someone and they might change. You might have sold a house to someone, and so now they really need to be in your contacts, but they're not an active person that's out there looking. So organize your COI. What is this?
Bullseye.
A bullseye! Yay! 2 points for Karen.
Contact immediately.
Yeah. A plus, A, B, C, D. It's not that hard to go, okay, where should someone land? Your A pluses, you got to contact immediately. That's where you're working in your business today. A's are the people that you need to be in contact with. B's, that's that same inner circle of COI, but maybe you don't need to be in contact with quite as often. C's and D's, these are people that you're wanting to develop relationships with, show them that you're a professional, and move them into, say, a B. Most of the time a B would think of you as the first realtor that they would call. And so your C's and D's, you're wanting to move into that relationship. A plus, multiple referrals, transactions. A, they're most likely to refer you. B, they haven't referred you yet, but they would if you remind them, if you show them. C's, you know them, you met them, but you haven't sold them a house yet. And D's, they're kind of your drip campaign. They're people that you're out there, you're networking with. Maybe you met at a networking event and you've got their business card, but you haven't had a lunch with them or something like that. You're letting them know what's going on and that you're out in real estate. So identify, sort the database, deepen the relationships, provide value. What can you do to provide value? We talked about one in sales meeting yesterday, Tuesday. What was it?
Home. I click on what's the value of your home. On the bottom of my signature, I just got that on my email. So every email I send out, they can click on it.
Close.
Neighborhood report.
Neighborhood report, real estate reviews.
That too.
Good job. 2 points to Darnell.
Well, he gets one back,
He
because
gets
he gave me a clue. So.
Yeah. Well, look, and our 2 rewarding life members are here,
You're an A.
and
We're rewarding your life.
yes, they are.
Chris
Oh
Cribb.
my God. Look at, I have my high water pants on, it's getting kind of deep in here.
Online calls, share your knowledge, share what you know. You know, when you know something's going on, we just found out Park Hill School District redistricted, and there's new elementary schools, and there's now a new middle school. share that knowledge. You know, it's gonna come up next year. You need to probably talk with some of your people that might be affected by it. Ask for referrals. People aren't going to refer you a lot of times if you don't ask, you know.
How often would you suggest that happens? Because like I did it, I sent out a lot of requests for referrals like at the beginning of the year, but I'm just wondering like, how often do you kind of keep that bug in people's ear? Because I feel like people forget.
Okay, so let's break that down.
Yeah.
You said you sent out requests for referrals.
Yeah, like
Did
I
you-
just
did you
talked
do
to
a
people. I
mailer,
just
or
did
did you-
no, I just talked to a bunch of people. Like
Okay.
I talked to like 30 people or 40
Put it on your
people.
Facebook now.
Do
Remind
it,
people.
do it at your closings, always hand them a couple
Yeah.
cards and say, hey, you know, it's looking. In fact, I just did it this morning. I have a young couple that have decided to wait a year. I've been trucking it to Excelsior
Uh-huh.
Springs. And she said, let me send you a gas card. And I said, absolutely not. I said, I will hook back up with you guys in a year. I said, in the meantime, if you know anybody buying and selling, please pass my name out to them.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Closing table. They're spot where they are actually happy. Usually, you know, they got that part done, and you know, ask for the testimonial there too, because this is your business. You are treating them with respect. You're helping them through this long. So I would greatly appreciate it if you know anyone that could be buying or selling in the next year. Let them know what I did for you, and I would appreciate that referral.
Put it on your signature line too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Question, but it's not.
Receive, acknowledge, and reward. So if you get a good testimonial, write them a thank you card. That's a very good thing to be able to do. So how do I accomplish 33 touches? Happy birthday anniversary, happy purchase anniversary. Everyone should have that in their list. I mean, you're talking about when you have helped sell a house to this person, the first year that they're there, call them up, say, you know, send them a card, say, wow, can you believe it's been a year? Did you finish that basement that you were talking about? Call the spouse to remind them. I don't know about that one, but you could call a spouse and say, hey, do you know your wife's birthday is next? That's a touch.
I got her something really nice. What did you get her?
I don't. Like I said, sometimes these are different. You can talk about articles that teach them about home ownership. You know, when you went through that inspection, the inspector probably set them up, gave them a book, something about how to maintain their home. So be able to reach out about that. So we've got a great vendor list here, and we have a technology partner called Zarly that helps to find vendors. So a vendor list is a great thing to be able to provide to a client to go, oh, you know, you need a painter, you need a house cleaner. What are those different people that you can help with? Happy Thanksgiving pies, the ReeceNichols prospecting plan, something around Christmas, something around the 4th of July. You know, there's different times you can be able to do something to reach out and help. Phone calls. People don't call just to show appreciation. Be different. Come up with, I mean, not come up with, but look at what's going on in their lives. You saw someone had a baby and it's on Facebook? Great. Say, hey, congratulations. Reach out to them. All right, farming. I'm going to pass on farming today, but this is all going to be in the slides. Probably the biggest thing about farming, make sure you find a neighborhood that you want to be involved with, and that has high turnover. Because if you've got a place that nobody moves from, you're going to be spending money, your hard-earned money, on something that that might not give you results.
Dang, I had 2 out of 3 on that.
Establish yourself as a local expert in a neighborhood. This is one of the ones we talked about here. So this comes back to kind of farming, direct mail, advertising in that area. So you could do it with a 90-day campaign, which would be, I'm getting my face in front of you 1, 2, 3 times. Just listed, just sold cards. We have a buyer with no inventory. If you sold 2 houses in a neighborhood just recently, you know, that's you're a neighborhood expert helping people in that area. You probably had people that came into an open house that were looking in that area. So you may have some leads. Think about quarterly newsletters. in those newsletters, talk about stats, what's going on in their area. You know, give them relative information. I don't know. I've received realtor things like a magnet with baseball, and I might have kept that. I'm a kind of a baseball fan. Royals aren't doing so hot this year, but they're getting a little better. But you know, the recipes, I'm probably not one that's going to keep the recipe cards. Just saying.
I would.
You would, John?
Yeah.
Good. And that's everybody's different. So
John's different.
Thanks, Jim.
other ways to keep in touch. Does everybody know what this is? The Action Plan Manager. So this has got,
They've opened them.
what's that?
You can track when they've opened them.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of our CRM. So this is part of our system of how you can be able to look at. The ReeceNichols Prospecting Plan is the #1 plan that is used throughout ReeceNichols. It's got 16 touches in a year. It's got things about the automated value. It's got tips about what's going to happen in the spring, maybe the fall. It's got a few different resources like helping with vendor lists and Zarly. You can look through the plan. It's actually a very good plan to be able to use. There are also, you know, a buyer campaign for an individual. This is where you're going to put in My Neighborhood reports too. So you're going to be adding in My Neighborhood reports. So if you're looking at how to talk to people, this automated thing, if you've got them on a My Neighborhood report that comes out once a month, well, that's 12 times that you've helped to give them valuable information in a year. It's a good tool to be able to look at. The newsletters, this is a copy of one of our e-newsletters in the action plan. So it talks about neighborhoods, tips for selling in winter, has the information to get them back to your website. All right, Popeyes. Anybody done a Popeye recently?
I love Popeyes.
Yeah, Krista, what'd you do?
Recently I did I did little tiny LED alarm clocks that look like little old-fashioned alarm clocks, and it said and I put little Popeye tags on them that said your something about referrals really spring my business forward. Your referrals, yeah.
Help. So, I don't know what I'd do without you.
Sausage.
Don't wait until the 9th inning. Talk to me about listing your home today. Spring market is buzzing. I'd love for your home to be my next listing.
Oh,
You could use these.
oh
We've
that's
got,
really cute. I like that.
Those are for people who actually are home, right? You wouldn't leave that on the doorstep.
I
if
do.
it's somebody that is,
Really? I worry about bugs and stuff if they happen to be out of town.
well, the donut maybe, you
Yeah.
know, but if you've got a little piece like that, if you've got a little thing of honey.
Something that is not gonna exist.
Yeah, I put it on a door hanger, and then I usually take a picture of it and text them and say, hey, don't forget to check.
Kathy's very practical.
Check your-
We're learning
Yeah.
here today.
And plus it gives me another reason to talk to them.
Okay, how about a handwritten note?
Yeah.
I mean, this is what you should be doing. This is personal. This is something that you're going, hey, congratulations on your 25th anniversary. There's so few fortunate that have that companionship, friendship. Happy anniversary. Do the same thing for, you know, when they bought their house, that they had a child, that they sold a house with you. Make sure that you think about it. Yeah, I met you at the open house, and you know, I really was interested in keeping in touch, and you had such great, beautiful kids. Maybe they need a new school. What makes them different? Successful people versus struggling. How many of you know agents that are knocking it out at the park? They have clients and closings all the time. Yeah? Who's doing that here? You know?
Karen.
Well, first of the year, Karen's nodding no, but
I'm not.
it's
I'm not.
challenging.
This year's been a struggle. I'll be the first one to put that out there.
Yeah.
Next year, he's big.
Well-
And that happens by ebb and flow.
Sure.
Call
Wait,
team.
Cone team's doing really well.
So-
You know, we've got Shannon Thompson sold, and she's a part-time agent. She sold 4 or 5 houses here at the first year.
Oh, just rub it in, why don't you?
Well, I'm not rubbing it in.
It has good years and bad years. So she'll be done for the year.
So,
She told me
but what can you do? You can talk to those people. What are they doing? Observe what they're doing. You know, Candy does open houses all the time.
Yeah.
You know, Candy's our #1 agent in our office. Just probably know that.
And
She's
one of our
hardworking.
agents in the country, in the region.
Yeah, in the region. You know, #1 team in the Northland. There's a reason why that's out there. So how many do you know agents that are struggling to make it? Yeah, well, that's true. Successful agents do things that struggling agents aren't willing to do. They are out doing these items. They're going, okay, I got to spend time, looking at whether I'm going to do some online leads. Am I going to work on social media so that that's going to be part of my strategy? You've got these different, I would say, paradigms that you could be working on. Work on them, figure out which ones work. At the end of the year, when you're looking at your business plan every 6 months, go, okay, I sold 6 houses. How did I get those leads? That's very important because that's probably what you should be doing, #1. One of the things they know is how to build a referral business. The most successful agents are ones that have taken those great transactions and they had fantastic service, and now those people are helping them with their sales. If you want to increase your sales, the obvious solution is prospect harder. But what's the approach? Some industry pros say it's better to give outstanding services to the clients you have, word will spread. How can I make someone stay? So most of our training is geared toward traditional sales strategy, focus 30, 60, 90 days. What if each day you review your COI list and you say, in your hour that you're going to be working on it, how can I help serve these people? How can I help give kindness, give things of value to the people that are in your sphere of influence? Customer service means understanding your client's lifestyle. It's not about real estate, it's about impacting their life. Our objective is to make them all feel as if they are our only client. You are going to have more than one client at the time, but this is the most important transaction to them. And so you have to be respectful of that and give that great customer service. How many of you currently working on a deal? All right. Kathy, we'll get you one since this is day 1. What if I told you your next 2 transactions are buried in the one you're working on right now? They really can be. You've got this great relationship going with them. You're working on them. What would have to happen for me to earn 2 awesome referrals from you? That's what you're talking about. You're talking to the same person. What would have to happen? What are they going to tell you? You're probably going to have a great experience. And it's okay to ask in this situation to be able to go, okay, I want to give you the best customer service. What would have to happen for me to get 2 referrals from you as we finish this process? Or in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years. Do's and don'ts for great customer service. Do ask client questions about their goals and needs. You do be proactive. Call clients before they call you. When you're going to give them news, how often when you have a client should you be at least talking to them? Weekly, at least. Giving them an update, probably more than that, but if you're not doing something weekly, especially if you have a listing, you go, okay, here's what's happened this week. Maybe you did an open house so that you're showing them what's going on. If you got something under contract, say a buyer, you'll get that time where you're past inspections and you're into that time where they're probably communicating more with the lender. At that point, just check in with them. Is there anything that you need? Is there anything that I can help you with? Have you thought about some of these things? Utilities. Have you thought about going and do you need to measure the refrigerator again because you might want to buy a new one? Keep a list of those service providers. Be a problem solver. There may be a problem that's out there. Moving dates are a problem. You probably ought to talk about that beforehand. Give them the information that you know as a professional. Ask for feedback. Keep smiling and carry aspirin.
Wine.
What's that?
Wine.
Yeah, we can substitute this for wine. That's why we had Costco in this week to tell us about some discounts. Don't let websites, email, and technology substitute for personal contact. That's true. You got CSS, you set up a listing, you'll see feedback on a listing. Well, don't let that be not personal contact. You might have talked to the agent that was showing it and they've given you some extra information. Make sure you get that out there. prospect until after the customer care tasks. Prospect until after customer care tasks are done. Be available 24/7, but set reasonable limits. You know, say I'm open, I'm here. If you don't get in touch with me, leave me a message and I'll get back to you. Don't worry that you're wasting their time. You're not wasting their time. If you are wasting their time, most people will tell you that. Isn't that true? All right, game plan. Tell me one thing that you'll commit to add to your plan. Okay, we talked about prospecting today. We talked about what was the most important. I'm going to go around the room. One thing.
Keeping in contact, doing those 33 touches, making sure, you get yourself out there. So.
Yeah. And what are you going to start with?
My
COI, A+ is A's. John?
I'm working on my subdivision up in Platte County to take that whole area away from RE/MAX and make it a ReeceNichols.
Sorry, RE/MAX, we're taking it away. Okay, John Jeans is neighborhood expert. Kathy, one thing you took away from today?
That I am already starting to put together my database of my circle of influence.
Good.
So that will get me started. And
Good.
then I'm also starting to, in my head, starting to prepare my social media that I become a real estate agent.
All right. Jim?
How about getting to the more personal touches with my COI and letting them know I need referrals.
Yeah. So, touching base and asking for referrals and going, hey, this is my business. This is my small business that I'm running that I am feeding myself and my family from.
I'm gonna start hitting open houses hard.
Yeah. This is the right time to be out at open houses. It's nice. We're getting some more inventory on the market. People are looking. You buy now. There's a lot of people that want to move in the summer. So you could have that time frame. Jerry?
Narrow my COI and work on my, which has all been said, my farming for my expires and cancels on the land.
Yeah. Working land. Working that aspect of you being an expert in land. Sounds good. Darnell?
Pressure's on Darnell. Let's hear something spectacular.
My neighborhood has a high turnover, so I feel like it would not be hard for me to farm my neighborhood.
Where's your
Not
neighborhood?
city.
But it may not be the same neighborhood. I haven't heard you guys getting together for drinks yet, so.
Look at Darnell rewarding your life, John.
Aren't you over there in,
It's called coaching.
I'm just gonna.
No. Come on, guys. This is a great place. We have a spirit of abundance. There are enough people out there. Karen?
Hey, I'm going into the parade of homes with an open mind.
Yeah. Parade of Homes starts.
Yep,
Can everybody go out to a few houses in the Parade of Homes?
definitely.
It starts over the next 2 weeks, starting on the 27th.
I've got two open houses at that one that you recommended.
Good. Yeah.
Oakwood,
Oakwood Forest.
yeah.
Natalia?
I also going to do like open house.
Good.
Forest and update my old relationships because I just realized that I can reach more people.
Yeah.
than I reached.
Awesome.
Yay.
Okay, so what's one thing you're not gonna do? And you can just shout at me, I won't call on people this time.
Buy leads.
You're not gonna buy leads? Okay, that's good. If you do get leads, you're gonna follow up, right? What?
Sit back and wait.
Wait, yeah. Spend some time on it. Okay, good things. Your mind is clever at sniffing out escape hatches. Your mind will go, I don't have to do this. You know, it's probably more important to do the laundry.
No binge watching Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Just turn it off.
Yeah, turn Netflix off. Hang on. Anybody that's a gym person, I say Netflix at the gym is the best place to do it because you can go ahead and stop. Make a plan, put it in place, set it and forget it. So keep your plan together. You're on your way to being the next local real estate celebrity. Oh, here's Bruce Lee. Long-term consistency trumps short-term intensity. Got it? What does that mean? Long-term consistency versus short-term intensity.
You're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, you're in it for the long haul. You're full-time realtors in this room.
That's it. Oh, yeah.
And that is it. Okay, look, we did it, 10:30 on time. Yay! Thank you guys. I appreciate you all coming. We'll take a break, and anybody that wants to stick around, we're going to talk about agency and go through our new training, or new agent training at 10:30. Okay? Bye now.